Yo, what's up with y'all? Yeah, what's good? So yeah, y'all know what it is. You know, had that fight announcement or the press conference, the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. That was the other day. I didn't know they was going to have it closed off to the public though. That's why it seemed real dry, real mid, shit like that. So yeah, that's coming up. Dig this though. So y'all know I went on the IBF panel again yesterday and shit, and thought the niggas was capping, but that's pretty much how that shit work over there. You know, when it comes to that panel, I'm gonna be honest. The only person over there that sound like they know what they talking about when it come to boxing is the host of the panel over there. I think the people that come on this panel, I feel like they're more opinionated. It's more based on feelings and how you feel about a certain fighter. It's more based on that than actually knowing what you're talking about. Like I give you an example. Those guys are real high on Ja Apataya, right? But Ja Apataya, you know how in the YTBC people are very critical of your resume if it's not like a good resume. He doesn't have a good resume. You can't even name 5 fighters he fought outside of Bradis, but they have high praise for him. They talk like he's an elite level fighter. There's fighters that got better resumes than him and better fighters than him, but they don't like those guys. So they'll talk shit and they'll be like, oh, those guys are this, that, and the third. So when I evaluate that panel, the IBFP panel, what I'm finding is they go off of how they feel, not what's actually facts. That's how they get down when it comes to like talking about boxers. The only dude that sound like I said, the only dude that sound like he kind of know what he's talking about is the host, IBFP. And I'm not saying he gets everything right and he knows everything, because he be wrong sometimes too, but most of the time he's kind of spot on. But then the people that he bring on the panel, they're just more, they have an opinion, not necessarily they know or have facts. You know what I mean? Shit like that. That's how that shit work, because they're always talking about fighters that don't have good resumes. Ja Apataya doesn't have a good resume, but they seem to think Ja Apataya is this elite level fighter. They like Ja Apataya, that's why. And then when there's fighters they don't like, they're just going to say bullshit about him, you know? And then the thing is, you know, bitch ass niggas that I be going back and forth with on that panel, they're saying that I only talk about Benavidez and I'm quiet about everything else. That's cap. Because if you do your homework, every live is basically arguing with Ashy Knuckles, arguing with Mirage about David Benavidez. That's pretty much it. Almost every live, like 80% of the live, that's what it is. It's either that or niggas trolling each other, cracking jokes. It's not like niggas is on there purely just talking boxing. That's not how those lives work. You know, that's why that's why it's kind of weird somebody would say that. And it's like, like yesterday, I don't know, like, I can understand because time go by fast, so I can see losing track of time, but they were arguing. It was good. They were arguing and going back and forth about David Benavidez. It was Mirage, Clavo, and Steel Mills, and somebody else, I believe. They were arguing about David Benavidez. That shit lasted an hour. Like, I was quiet. I didn't say shit because it's like, bro, they always argue. They always talk about Benavidez, and it's the same bullshit arguments over and over again. You know? They're bringing up shit that happened in Benavidez's past. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. It's the same bullshit over and over again. This is like the 100th millionth time. No exaggeration. Like, this is like the 100th time we talked about this shit, or they talked about it. And, hey, what up? Brand new here. And it's like, hey, and the people that, the very few people that do come in the comments, feel free to ask questions. I don't really give a fuck what you ask about. It can be about boxing. It can be about black bitches. I don't really care. Yeah, so if y'all want to do that, go ahead. But yeah, so it's the same thing over and over again. It's about Benavidez, and it's like, so they're arguing. It was, yeah, it was Mirage, uh, the dude with the glasses, and Clavo, and they were going back and forth about Benavidez, and that conversation took an hour. Like, time go by fast, so they probably didn't realize that. I can understand that, but that shit lasted an hour. I'm sitting there on the live listening like, damn, these niggas is really finna talk about Benavidez this long. And then the last live, it was the same thing. The live before that, it was the same thing. The live before that, it was the same thing. Like, we just had Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach fight. We didn't really talk about that. We barely spent any time talking about that. That was the latest fight. We didn't really do no in-depth analysis about it or nothing. Just ask questions and then it was over with. And then, oh, what about Benavidez? Is he doing that? And then everybody's arguing about Benavidez and the shit lasts an hour. And then after that, it's just cracking jokes, niggas making fun of people, that troll shit that niggas love to do. And then that's pretty much it. And then the show winds down. That's literally how every live has been going. It's not like niggas is really on there chopping it up about boxing. That's just facts. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. So when somebody says, I don't know nothing about boxing besides Benavidez, that's cap. That's just somebody talking shit. That's not valid. That's not valid. You know what I mean? And then these bitch ass niggas on the panel, they caught up in that race shit, because y'all know how I get down. When it comes to this boxing shit, I'm not afraid to speak out against the anti-black bullshit that goes on. Niggas don't be liking that shit. So everybody is on eggshells with me about that. So what happens is, when I talk, people act like hoes. What I mean by that is, you know how a bitch will listen to respond or argue instead of listening to be reasoned with and understand what you're saying? See, when I talk, they don't listen to understand or be reasoned with. They listen to find ways to argue with me. I can tell them niggas the sky's blue, they'll find a way to argue with me about that. Because they don't like, they tripping off the anti-black shit. They stuck on that. Like the Mexican dudes on the panel, they stuck on that shit, you know? But these is not real Mexicans though, because the real Mexicans know what I'm talking about. These are just some clowns that's just on bullshit, you know what I'm saying? So, because I told y'all, that's what's wrong with the YTBC, because if you are biased like that, I'm gonna keep it real. If you're biased, right, and let's say you're a Mexican, right, and you're biased against black fighters, like a lot of Mexican fans are. There's no point in debating boxing with you, because you're just going to be on bullshit, and you're just going to say how you feel instead of actual facts. Boxing debates move better when there's actual facts being said. Not, oh, I feel this way because I don't like this guy, so I'm gonna stand on that. It's a waste of time to talk boxing with somebody. And that's how the majority of the people on the IBFP panel operate. You see what I'm saying? You're going to find yourself in a situation where it's like you're wasting your time. You're just biased against this fighter. You're not going to keep it real. You're not going to give credit where it's due. You're going to lie and make excuses for your favorite fighter if something happens to them. There's no reason to talk to nobody like that about boxing. You're wasting your time. And that's pretty much how that panel works over there. You know what I mean? It's like niggas, most of the niggas over there don't like Terrence Crawford. So they're going to say bullshit about Terrence Crawford. They're not going to keep it real about Terrence Crawford. They're not going to say facts about Terrence Crawford because they don't like Terrence Crawford. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it works over there. And it's like people that talk boxing with that type of mindset, you can't really fuck with niggas like that. I mean, so you're going to end up arguing with people like that. And that's how, I'm going to say that's how 85% of that panel is. There's a few dudes over there that don't do that, but they don't really be on there like that. But that's how the majority of people that talk on there do. They care about feelings. They don't really care about facts. You know, hypocritical shit, you know. And like I said, I'm the only black motherfucker in the YTBC that saw all that fake shit going down, and I was opposing that shit, and niggas is mad. See, some of these niggas be on that shuck and jive shit. They be kissing the Mexican fans' ass. There's a few dudes on the panel that do that. I don't do that bullshit. I'm not kissing no Mexican motherfucker ass. I'm keeping this shit real. And the Mexicans don't like that shit. And that doesn't mean I'm anti-Mexican. It don't mean I hate Mexican. No, I'm just keeping it real. That's all. And they don't like that shit. They rather me get up here and just cap. And you can tell IBS followers are some hoes, because remember, IBF refused to lie and make excuses for Canelo after the Crawford fight. And them hoe ass so-called fans and followers he got, they were unsubscribing him. So IBF got whole ass followers. These ain't real boxing fans, like I always say. Because when the Crawford shit went down back in September, he did not sit there and make excuses for Canelo. He called that shit exactly down the middle. His bitch ass followers, or were followers, his gay ass fans, followers, whatever you want to call them, a lot of them were unsubscribing simply because he wouldn't lie for Canelo. So we know he has bitch ass followers. You dig? And that's just facts. You can go back and look that up for yourself. The nigga had to take down a video or two being honest about Canelo because his whole ass followers were crying. So can't really fuck with that. So that panel is flawed, bro. It's flawed. You know, I only go over there is because I just like how IBF kept it real about Canelo because, no disrespect, he was the biggest Canelo glazer for a long time. He built his channel off that. And then when that shit went down, instead of capping and lying like all the followers did, he kept that shit real. I respect that. If this is how he gonna get down, I can mess with the new IBFP content. That's all that was, no more, no less. But as far as the niggas that be on this panel, most of them niggas is suckers. And then yesterday, they tried to rage bait me talking about Clavo knows more boxing than me. It's funny they say that because I've been on that panel for almost since February, and I've never heard nobody say he's really good at having boxing takes. Never. I never heard nobody say it about nobody. I heard Hit Kid try to debate somebody before, and that shit was fucking horrible. So I feel like when they were saying that they were trying to rage bait me, you know, because I already had a convo with Clavo about boxing, and there were things that everybody that knows boxing knew that he didn't know. So I don't believe that. I think that's cap when people say that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never heard nobody say that. You know, his job is to go over there and make people laugh, homosexual rhetoric, and bullshit like that. So I got a message earlier. There's this bitch ass, gay ass motherfucker that's always on this panel writing shit in the comment section. Yeah, little queer dude named Antonio Garcia, right? Some bitch, right? Stays on my dick. I'm not a homosexual, but he stays on my dick, right? So he writes saying that bitch motherfucker said, he said that, how did IBFP put out a video rage baiting about Terrence Crawford when everybody knows that Terrence Crawford lost to Israel Madrimov or whatnot? That's what he said. He asked me, why did I do a video saying he was rage baiting when he put out that video? The reason why it's rage baiting is because if you notice, IBF only really gets really good engagement if he does videos where people are able to come on there and bash certain fighters. You dig? So he put the video up about Terrence Crawford getting stripped for the WBC, and then talking about Terrence Crawford said he's never had a tough fight before, right? He put that video up criticizing Terrence Crawford in that video. But niggas think they slick. They can fool you niggas, but they can't fool me. He did that video because he knew he was going to get people to be in the comment sections and basically light up the page and engagements go up, because he knew people are going to come on here and they're going to criticize Crawford and talk crazy. See, he caters to the Crawford haters, even though he gave Crawford his flowers for beating Canelo. But he knows the majority of his fan base are pro-Latino and pro-Canelo fans. So they're going to, obviously, when you got a chance to talk shit about a fighter that's not Latino, they're going to do it. He knows that. So what he did was he put the video up knowing that was going to happen. And then if you read the comments, sure enough, it's just a bunch of people on there saying bullshit about Terrence Crawford. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That's rage baiting, because he knew he did that video to get engagement. He didn't do that video because he sincerely had to speak on Crawford. No, he did that video because he knew hating ass niggas like Antonio Garcia was going to go up there and say bullshit. Oh, Crawford is this, that, and the third. Disrespect the man. Somehow him getting stripped of the WBC belt, it's like a really, really big deal and shit. When there's been other fighters that have done the same thing. That shit barely got talked about, but when he do it, it's a big deal. Like all type of fugazi ass shit like that. That's all it is. It was a rage bait video. Everybody know that. And as far as the Israel Majimov fight, nobody never denied that was a tough fight. Israel Majimov in that fight was really good, but he did not do enough to win that fight. You go back and watch that fight. In the later rounds, Crawford separated himself. And if you think he did it, then I'm just going to write that off as, oh, this guy's a Crawford hater. You preyed on that man's downfall. Because again, he beat their guy, Canelo, so now all the Canelo fans are praying for Crawford's downfall, just like they're doing David Benavidez. Because the David Benavidez dislike, that shit is fake, because they don't like David. I've been saying this for the longest. I've been saying this for damn near 2 years now, to be honest. And it's funny because IBF actually echoed what I've been saying. They don't like Benavidez because of Canelo, because Benavidez didn't really do anything to dislike him. Regardless of what happened in that man's past, or he didn't fight this certain fighter at this time, all that bullshit they say, that nigga Benavidez, he's earning his respect by what he does in the ring. No other thing. He wanted to fight Canelo because Canelo was the best in the weight class. He was the up-and-coming guy. Canelo didn't want to fight him, the whole nine, so it didn't happen. All the Canelo fans, you tell them this shit, they'll make a million excuses why Canelo didn't fight him and blame David for everything. That's not even realistic, but that's what they do. These are the people that don't like David Benavidez. Now, if you a real boxing fan, or you at least knowledgeable about boxing on a decent to higher level, can you respect that? Is that something to respect? No, it's not. But that's what these niggas over there do. And it's like, can't respect that bullshit, bro. Like, the fuck? Clown shit, bro. You know? Can't respect no shit like that. You sitting here praying. And then, like I said, you got guys like Steel Mills, you know, he somehow, like I said this before, and this is part of the reason why I don't like the nigga. How the fuck does a nigga that says Anthony Yard is more skilled than David Benavidez? How is that somebody that's looked at as somebody who has great boxing takes? Like, that just don't make sense to me, bro. Them niggas is glazing Steel Mills for no reason. You know, and then you said you wanted to see him lose. So you prey on a man's downfall. You're a fucking hater. You did? Like, you're a fucking hater, bro. You're a hater ass nigga with glasses on. That's hater shit. What nigga prays for a nigga's downfall? People that are haters do that. Nobody who's not a hater would do that. You see what I'm saying? You feel a certain way, so you want to see a man lose. You're a fucking hater. Nigga, I don't even like Ryan Garcia, but I'm not praying for his downfall. You see what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm not a hater like you niggas. So, you know, it's just a lot of weird shit. I know for a fact Clavo don't have better boxing takes than me. I know he's not more knowledgeable than me. That's why it's such a ridiculous thing. To be honest with you, I ain't gonna cap. It's not even really worth responding to. Like, that shit is cap, bro. Don't nobody really believe that shit. They were just being nice. And that goes for all them dudes on the panel. Hit Kid, don't really know what he be talking about. All them dudes. You know, Hit Kid, that fat dude that got them lame ass jokes. And the other, I forgot the other nigga name, but yeah, them niggas don't know what they're talking about, bro. They just go off their feelings. Them niggas over there don't fuck with no facts. You said Steel Mills also said Brian Norman, a pressure fighter. Like I said, man, I just don't like how a nigga can just say ridiculous shit that's not necessarily based in fact, but yet get looked at or get credited as a boxing coach. I think he's just saying what they want to hear. So they're crediting him for that. But as far as like, is there facts to what this nigga saying? The answer is no. And he don't address me on the panel because apparently the Steel Mills guy, he don't address me on the panel because apparently me calling him a bitch on the internet, that's such a big deal. It warrants a situation where you can't even address a guy. You got all these silly motherfuckers trolling me saying all this gay shit. I'm not even fucking gay, right? But they still do the stupid shit. That's like me getting mad about that and acting like I can't say this or I can't say that if this person's around. Like, nah, nigga. This internet shit. And he's been called names before by other people. He ain't get tough with them niggas, but he's tough with me. But hey, in my other videos where I be talking about black bitches and all that shit, I touch on that too. How if you're a black man, your number one op is going to be another black motherfucker. So that shouldn't surprise me. So that's pretty much how that worked. So like I said, I'm straight with IBFP, but his motherfucking niggas that be on this panel, they be on bullshit. Straight bullshit. You know, those guys get emotional, they get in their feelings. Everything is feelings based, nothing. They don't care about no facts or none of that shit. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. None of that shit. Niggas don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You know, so it is what it is. To touch on, you know, they just did the press conference for Shakur and T.O. I'm going to give my take on that. I'm not, you know how some people are waiting until a later date to give their prediction who they got winning? I ain't even doing no shit like that. I'm calling it right now. I got Shakur winning. I think, see, the thing about Shakur is a winner. He don't give a fuck. Hold up. You said Clavo made a prediction video before Canelo versus Crawford saying Canelo was going to win and he has good boxing takes. When I was on the panel with him one time, I remember him saying he had it 50-50. You did? Yeah. You know what I mean? I remember he said that. Because he claims he likes both fighters. But you said he did a video, because I don't watch none of his shit. He said he did a video saying that Canelo was going to win. He probably did say that shit. He said, hey, live. Shit. But nah, what I was saying is, when it comes to Shakur and T.O. thing, I'm picking Shakur because, all right, I'm picking Shakur because I just think that Shakur don't give a fuck what people think. He's a winner, and he fights in a way where it kind of like guarantees he's going to win. Somebody will have to be too big for him, or they'll have to like knock him out, because ain't nobody going to go in there and outbox no Shakur. You know what I mean? That ain't happening. And I think T.O. is really, really good. T.O. explosive, super athletic, power. He got some good power. The thing about T.O. is he's not a jab guy. Like, he's not a jab guy. If you watch him fight, jabs are not that's not one of his strong suits. Shakur got a jab. You know what I mean? So he got an advantage right there. He's just going to jab T.O. And then T.O.'s going to try to like use his athleticism, run in there, land big shots, the whole nine. That's how he fights. Like, if you look at his last fight, that's what he was doing. I don't think that's going to work on Shakur, because Shakur got the jab and he got excellent counterpunching. And Shakur might not be as athletic as T.O., but he can move just good enough to like deal with that. So from a matchup standpoint, Shakur, he low-key got the better style. The only thing is T.O.'s probably a little bit more a stronger puncher. But shit, who knows? Shakur might have some pop at 140. We don't know. Shit, extra 5 pounds of muscle for 135. He might be stronger with that. We don't know. But I just think Shakur is a little bit more skilled than T.O. You know what I mean? I like T.O. though, to be honest with you. I know some crazy shit went down with him, but as a boxer, I like T.O. I think he has one of the better resumes, a great fighter. But I just think there's levels to this, and I think Shakur is a tier above. So I got Shakur in that. So that should be a great fight, because that's the next big mega fight coming up. So I'm highlighting that. There's other fights coming up too, but that's the main one. I'm not really interested in that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua shit. Like, I might peek at it, keeping it real with y'all, but man, I ain't trying to watch that shit, because we all know what should happen. So that's pretty much it. But I might peek, you know, I ain't gonna lie, but just being geeked up to watch it, no. So, yeah. So that's how I feel about that. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to get on here and say that, you know, I got some messages, thought I'd respond to them, you know, bitch ass Antonio Garcia with that bullshit. Nigga, you a IBF troll. These niggas watch IBF's channel like it's must-see TV and shit. Never get on the panel, but be in the comment section talking bullshit. And then they like to gang up on people. You got other people agreeing with your bullshit. You're full of shit, but you lucked up and found followers of that bullshit. So, niggas is clowns, bro. Did you see Tyra Banks looking drugged out? Yeah, that kind of hurt me, though, because Tyra Banks is an all-time favorite as far as, like, bad bitches I grew up liking. Remember back in the day when she was on the Fresh Prince show for that little bit? She was bad back then. But, yeah, that bothered me, you know, to see her looking like that. I got to do a video, keeping it real with y'all. This probably going to be when I'm driving in my car. Like, black women, like women, period, that be on drugs, bro. That's one of the most horrible, 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 horrible things in the world. I want to discuss that. Like, just bitches doing drugs, drugged out looking bitches. Like, I want to put that on blast because I think that's a horrible, anybody doing drugs, but when a woman is on that shit, I'm going to do a video talking about that. For real, I'm going to do a video talking about that. Niggas be out here getting these bitches high. I ain't fucking with that. I'm gonna do a video putting that on blast. But yeah, I saw it. I didn't like it. Hopefully Tyra can get it together. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm any more questions or y'all straight? Hey, I barely get any viewers, so but we keep it real over here, man. We still do it. Niggas either rock with it or they don't. We still put the content out. It is what it is. Life is life, baby. All right, I guess I'll shut it down then. It's almost 30 minutes. We all in, no black woman 2026. Oh, that's facts. You already know. You already know that. Too much dysfunctional behavior doesn't produce a healthy relationship, you know? A lot of people get this shit twisted and they think it's a race thing. Nah, like I've been saying for 3 years now, doing my videos, it's a behavior thing. Black women, unfortunately, have the worst behavior when it comes to dating dynamics. So therefore, we got to get a bitch that's not black. So yeah, facts, no black women. Black women have to have a full makeover, character-wise, to start getting praised again. If they fail to do that, going to have to date outside our race. And like I said, shit, dating non-black women, even though it's better, it's still a risk because you got that element of racism. But we don't really have a choice because of how toxic black women are. So we got to get the white bitch. We got to get the Spanish chick. We got to get the Asian chick. We ain't got no choice because if we date black women, she going to get on that bad, poor behavior shit. You know, y'all saw my last video. I told y'all, you know, black women got the looks. Don't worry about that. Bitch bad. Get the talking to her, get the peeping her game and shit, her character. Man, her character's all bad, man. Can't really do nothing with it. After you hit that, it's like, I don't even want to deal with this bitch anymore because she's so toxic. She mean as hell, just not pleasant to be around. And that's unfortunately how it is. Black women are beautiful on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the truth. You got to be a nigga that literally doesn't get girls to not know this shit. If you're out here getting bitches, you know what I'm talking about. When it comes to dating, the worst behaved women are the black chicks. It'd be the girls that ain't black that are more untuned. Why do you think all these niggas out here is chasing non-black women? And like I said, that element of racism ain't going nowhere. And niggas is still like, fuck it, I'ma still get a white bitch. So that's how bad black women are. And it's all behavior. No, I don't say none of this shit because they black. People need to know that. Now, you can contact me on here, bro, and then I'm about to do an email very soon I'm going to put up. And that's going to let it where people can contact me even more. So stay tuned for that. But that's dropping soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to step off. I'm going to get with y'all later. I appreciate the small audience I have. Appreciate y'all.